After 9:30 now, and here I am in Banff, and I'm walking out north up towards a place called Cullen, and I bumped into this lady whose name is Sue, who is also from Hull. Yes. Now, would you believe that? I mean, we was just like chewing the fat like Hull people do. And so what are you doing up here then, Sue?
Well, my husband was in the RAF at Lossiemouth, and in 1984 we came, and we've somehow stayed.
Yes.
For 34 years.
Oh, right. Do you think you'll like it?
Well, I'll give it a go. That's all I can say.
Now, you're telling me you're a Newcastle United fan.
Yes.
Why is that then? Is it Steve Bruce connection with Hull City or anything like that?
Nothing to do with that. No, I've been a Newcastle United fan for about 11 years. It's my husband. I married a Geordie. So
right. Oh, well, that's
he sort of took me once, and that was it. I was hooked.
Yeah.
And I've had season tickets,
right.
And this is the first year I've not had a season ticket because of what happened with Rafa.
Yeah. Do you go back to Hull at all then?
No.
Have you never been?
I've no family
No reason
there
to
now.
go back?
No.
Right.
No.
My son lives there, but my daughter lives in Manchester now. But I've got family, quite a lot of
people
family.
think I'm from, like, Manchester. People say you're from Manchester because they think a Coronation Street accent.
Right, no, well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but somebody from Hull probably would pick up the...
Yes, that's right. It's amazing how many people from Hull I've met, actually. It's quite amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is...
Our professional, our golf club's from Hull.
Oh, I fancy that.
So we often speak up. He's a massive Hull City fan.
Yeah.
So...
Now, I see you take your dog out for a walk. I mean, do you do any other walking as well, then? Is it just your dog?
No, just my dog. My dog.
Yeah.
My dog's enough. I mean, I have to walk him like 2 long walks a day.
Yeah.
So,
give him a go.
Yeah. So there's plenty of... I'm just going to football tonight, actually.
Oh, very nice. So I enjoy it. What, are you going to drive right all the way down to Newcastle?
No, go by train.
Oh, you go by train?
Aberdeen.
Christ, that must cost a fortune.
Not really with your senior rail cards.
Oh, well, that's not so bad. I've got an English senior rail card.
Well, it's just a rail card for the whole of the... I use mine. It's just a national rail card.
Well, no, I tried to use mine. They said, no, you need a ScotRail card.
Are you sure you're not talking about your buses?
No, you can't use your bus pass.
No. I can't use mine in Newcastle.
No,
which is a bit of a bummer, really.
Yeah.
Because you're a senior wherever you go, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's been a pleasure to meet you, Sue. I'm going to have to get on because I've got a long way to walk.
You didn't even tell me your name. I don't know your
Jim.
name. Oh, you gave me a card.
I gave you a card.
You
yes.
did. So
I'll have a look on the internet.
I will do.
I will do. You'll enjoy it.
And track you. And maybe have you got a Just Giving page?
Yes, I have.
I'll maybe give you a donation for your Just Giving.
Well, that's very kind of you. Yeah. Well, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
you, Jim.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, I've not got far. I was talking to a lady not that long ago, actually, who was from Hull, who's the same, which is where I'm from as well, incidentally. I mean, I can tell by her accent, obviously you're not.
Nope.
And I know you've got your friend with you who doesn't really want to say much.
Ex-friend.
Yeah, ex-friend now.
Ex-friend.
So you're walking partner then. Do you do a lot of walking?
Well, not really. What we're doing is just starting a new Keep Fit regime, and we're going to be using rather than go to local gyms, we're going to be using the beaches here, and there's another one down in Banff just to do some training and get fit.
But
incorporate a walk as well, just to get the fresh air and all that. So it's just a health sort of new health way to adapt to life and stuff. Like you, go back in the even have a pint of lager. Fantastic.
Yes.
We do that as well.
And you've got a Fitbit and stuff, have you?
Yeah, I've got a Fitbit, yeah, but I don't wear it. You're supposed to wear them all the time, and I don't like wearing watches all the time, so that was a waste of my money. But,
Right.
But they are very good, though, yeah.
Oh yeah, well mine tells me everything.
Yeah,
I've
it
got
does,
tuned
yeah.
in, even what I eat and what I
Yeah,
burn
they are
off and
good if you
everything.
wear them, aren't you?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Lovely to meet
Fantastic,
you.
and
Lovely
you.
to meet you. And I'll
Yeah.
just. There's your friend who doesn't want to talk. Look.
She's rather hate it. Good luck on your walk.
Cheers now.
Keep
Bye.
following.
Bye now.
See you
Bye.
later.
Good morning. It's Friday the 30th of August and it's just before 10 o'clock and it's a long story where I am and what I'm doing, but I'm in Banff, Banff, and I'm heading towards Inverness. I'm walking along and with the hope of reaching Cullen, which is around about sort of 15 miles away. There's a bus route along here with a fairly regular bus service, so it's not really important how far I get today because I can get back to Banff this evening where I'll be staying. The weather forecast for tomorrow is atrocious. It's like heavy stormy rain all day, and then what I'll do is I'll continue on Sunday along the coast from Cullen onwards towards Lossiemouth. But on Monday my good friend Ralph appears and he's going to be here, he said, early on Monday morning. He's driving up from South Wales, which must be what, 500 miles or more, I would say, maybe 600 miles to get up here, and he's going to come up for 4 or 5 days, he said, and then he said he's going to come back, he's going to go back home to South Wales. And he told me a story about a friend who's got a van similar to mine, and him and his friend Nibs, who were once going to come up here before, are going to come and join me after I've passed through Inverness, and I'll be heading north for John O'Groats, and they're going to come and join me on that leg, and hopefully all the way through to John O'Groats, which would be absolutely wonderful. Now, I know I put a thing on Facebook for all the benefit of the Facebook people. They know what's going on, but for the benefit of YouTube people who are not on Facebook, I've been a little bit low and a little bit down, and there's a few things that have gone wrong and all the rest of it, and so I've just had a couple of days off and I feel so much better for it. You know, I got myself really nicely cleaned up and showers, did all my washing, did some editing, did loads of trying to catch up with all the people who I like to write to and keep up if I can, but I've slipped behind and it's difficult to catch up. And apart from the fact that I'm getting more and more and more people coming onto the site every day, I'm getting probably 30 or 40 new people every day now, and that takes, you might think, well, what work is involved in that? Well, there is work involved in that, and I like to say hello to people, and I like to welcome people and reply to their answers, you know, to whatever they want to know and stuff, and become friends. Basically, that's the idea. One of the problems that you get, or one of the problems I've had, is obviously from this all starting off with absolutely nothing in April 2018. I've now got, I don't know, there's 1,500 people I think on the Jim's Coastal Path Walk. I've now got nearly 1,800 people on my own site. I've got over 1,000 people on the now on the YouTube site, and I've also got an awful lot of followers. It doesn't sometimes seem to reflect very much in the viewing figures, but that's not important to you, I'm sure. But to me, it seems strange that going through various areas, how it does definitely go up and down. And the only thing I can say about that is, obviously, this is not a very populated area. It was a completely different story last year at this time when I was in Wales on the Welsh coast, where I was getting lots and lots and lots of responses and seeing lots and lots and lots of people, loads of talking, meeting different people. Of course, here meeting people is very few and far between. It's a very sparsely populated area, and it's definitely not the kind of holiday haven kind of place that people rush to in massive numbers. So that, in my opinion, justifies why the figures go up and down, because I reckon the people who live in Wales on the Pembroke Coastal Path as an example, they're going to be watching all the time, but there's not that many people that live up here on this coastal path, so it's of not a great deal of interest. I hope you understand all that, or I hope I explained it well enough. So I had a problem that I had to solve. The reason I had 2 days off, I'm using a brand new video camera at this moment. My other 4 cameras still work perfectly okay, apart from the viewfinder, which it just doesn't work. And I really had to struggle last Tuesday to finish off the walk up to Fraserburgh because I couldn't use a flap. I was actually not using anything. I was just guessing the pictures in the end. And having looked back at the film, I think I got away with it. I don't think you would know that much about how I did it, but I did it. So I've been and bought this new camera. That was a performance, because I had to go all the way to Aberdeen to buy it, having been to the Argos shop in Fraseburgh. They had 3 cameras, but they couldn't sell me any of them. I'd have to order, which is no good to me. And it was the same in Aberdeen. And I eventually found this one at Curry's PC World, and they only had 1 when I really wanted to buy 2. But this should last me. I'm confident that this will last me pretty well, certainly until I get to John O'Groats, and then I can sort all this out again, cameras, etc., and get my other ones repaired and everything during my winter break. The weather today is not that good. It's been spitting now and again. It's very windy, a bit stormy, if you know what I mean. But it's walkable, it's not cold, and the wind is behind me, so that's a blessing. And so I'm in a really good mood, and I'm dead happy now that, as I say, Ralph's coming on Monday. I made contact with a friend, Dave, who's better known as Desmond, and he lives not far away from here, and he said he'll help me out with some logistics if I need that. Well, that's very kind of him, and I've made contact now, and we're going to get together. It'd be very nice to meet him. Harry, the guy that, if you remember, I stayed at his house, that would be about a week ago, just over a week ago. He's making his way up to this neck of the woods as well, and it's possible I'm going to meet him. So it's all starting to happen, and I'm back to normal, and I'm really looking forward to getting on the move again. I've enjoyed a couple of days off. I've thought a lot of things out, and the depressive mood I was in seems to have lifted pretty well, really. And let's hope that Hull City win tomorrow, and that might sort out some of my depression. I just met a woman from Hull. It's amazing. Come all this way, and I recognise her accent straight away. I said, "You're from Hull, aren't you?" Yeah, oh, no, you know, that's really funny. Lovely woman, lovely woman. So, Hoots Mon. It's a bra, bricht, moonlicht, nicht, tonicht. Well, I was just walking along, and just after I did my little introduction, and I've met Mike, who is actually from New Zealand. So, how long have you been over here then, Mike?
Oh, I've been here off and on since '76. I was in shipping, and then domiciled into London, and hated the city, and I'm a country bumpkin, mate.
Really? Well, I mean, yeah, that's great. I mean, you were saying about this particular area, and you know, it's something that you particularly like and love.
Well, having been brought up with an 8,260-foot mountain on the doorstep, since the age of 10, my brother and I, we've been snow and ice, climbing, skiing, outdoor, bivvying out, always outdoors, and when people say, "Oh, it's cold up here, it's -5, -10, I'm like, yes, great, marvellous. I love the cold. We used to do a lot of snow caving, and I made a bit of a mess up because I thought we were living in Macduff, that I'd be able to go inland and do a few snow caves, etc. I still have
Right.
that hunk, but we're a bit too coastal
Yes.
to get it. Although we do get snow up and down here,
Right.
but
Are the winters as bad as people say in Scotland? I mean, everybody, everybody seems to think that, it is like. I know it's part of the British Isles, as if it's like 10 degrees lower generally. I don't think that's the
mate,
case at all, is it?
I'm known as the Scrooge because in New Zealand we don't have central heating. It's put another log on the fire or put another jersey on.
Yes.
So I don't turn on the heating.
Right.
We go to some people's houses and
20 degrees.
Yeah, it is.
Nodding off on the
And
settee, yeah.
I can't handle that.
No.
I mean, my best scenario is walking up here at about -10, wind chill factor, snowing, and I'm yes,
Yeah.
got it.
Well, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I wouldn't swap it. I mean, in New Zealand, if you get a cold spell, you get the brilliant blue sky,
Yes.
brilliant, very, very bright
Yes.
sunshine, and that does your soul good.
Of course.
And that's what it's like in New Zealand.
Yes.
So I feel particularly at home here.
Yes.
And as I said, I live my days out up here.
Yeah.
My daughter and said we were coming up here. Oh, I'm going to Devon and Cornwall. But once they get up here, it's just like running a B&B.
Really?
Because every man and his dog wants to come up and see.
Well, that's fair enough. Yeah. I've got to admit, I've been as far north as Inverness in the past, and that was only maybe 5-6 years ago I went up there, but
Yeah.
I've not actually done any walking up here. I've done a lot of walking in England and stuff around about.
Well, Spey Bay, go out to the Spey River. They've got the dolphin watch out there, and it's a good cafe, and you can walk right up to Spey Bay. That's one I wanted to do, but
Yeah.
at the back, right.
That'll be lovely.
We're struggling on.
Well, Mike, thank you very much indeed for your time. It's been lovely meeting you.
Right.
And I mean, I'm going to walk from here to Cullen. That's a reasonable walk, isn't it? What would you say? About 10 miles, 15?
Yeah.
10, 15 miles.
It's a lovely one. We've done parts of it,
Yeah.
and you go past the old Findlater Castle. Now you have a look at that.
Yeah.
It's past Portsoy, between Portsoy and Cullen.
Yes.
And that's, you imagine living there right on the coast. Didn't
Yes.
have glass in those days.
Right.
And you imagine the winds howling
Yes,
in.
I could imagine.
It was. Icicles for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, it's a beautiful coast, a beautiful country. Love the people, very out front, very matter of fact, just as Kiwis are.
Yeah,
Call a spade a spade.
yeah. Well,
And,
that's lovely.
Yeah. So
Lovely.
it's been really nice talking to you. It's nice to find somebody else who loves the countryside.
You're a lovely bloke, mate. I could talk to you for hours.
Yeah.
And you've got a smashing little dog here as well.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, Jasper.
And look at Jasper. This is Jasper. Well, it's just after 11 now. I've just stopped for a nice cup of tea, which was wonderful. Only £1.30. Can't go wrong at that, can you? And I know I've got a big sort of hill on my left-hand side, but the wind seems to be steadying down and the cloud seems to be disappearing, and it looks as if might be in for a nicer day than I actually expected, even though, as I've said earlier, they say tomorrow is going to be appalling. But let's just see what happens. Well, I've just had my cup of tea and I was just walking along the road and bumped into this lovely couple who, at first they went past me and now they're on the way back. So I assume this is just a bit of an exercise that you're doing. Before you answer, please, I forgot to ask your name.
I'm Miriam.
Miriam.
I'm Michael.
And where are you from, Michael?
We're from White Rock, Canada, which is about 30 miles south of Vancouver.
There's a
Wow.
car coming.
Oh, right, yes. Sorry. Right. And so are you here on a holiday or what?
We come to Banff every year for about 4.5 months because we have a little house here in Banff.
Oh, well, that's very nice.
Yes.
I didn't get a great deal of an opportunity to look at Banff this morning, but I will do when I come back later on the bus, and I'll look around and I'll probably go and have a meal or a beer or something, and I'll probably be staying there tonight as well because, as I was saying to you a minute or two ago, the weather forecast for tomorrow is absolutely appalling. I mean, the one good thing about this area, you're well served with campsites. There's lots of sites that will take on a camper, and having the mains electricity is very useful,
Right.
you know, rather than just sitting in the cold, if you
Now,
understand.
if you need a good meal in Banff tonight,
Yes.
there's the County Hotel, and it's probably the best meal in Banff.
Really?
Aye, it's right on the main street,
Yes.
on the east side.
Right. Will you be there tonight now?
No, we've been there already a few times.
You'll be all right. Okay. Now, well, to be honest with you, I'm not a big eater in terms of all the food I eat is first thing in the morning.
All right.
You know, that builds up my calories, and that
Right.
enables me to walk, 15, 20 miles. And so very rarely do I eat on an evening because it throws my stomach out of balance a little bit. And so I stick to that rule. So instead of eating on a night, I've got a beer fridge in my tent and I drink beer.
Oh, very good. A liquid dinner, I like.
Well, yes. And,
So where's your next stop after Cullen? Where are you going to...
well, I'm just heading generally for Inverness, getting as
Okay.
far as I can.
Are you going to go to the west coast?
Yes, but I won't be doing that this year. My intention, I've already done all of England and Wales, which is 3,700 miles, and then I set off from Grimsby, having got back to there in the middle of July. I drove up to Berwick, and I've walked from Berwick to here since then. So I've not done too bad, and I've calculated, even though I've seemed to have lost 2 or 3 days recently for one reason or another, I've calculated I'll get to John O'Groats by the 22nd of September. And I've got a friend who's driving up all the way up from South Wales on Monday, and he's going to come and join me for a while. And he's walked with me before in different parts of in Wales and in Cornwall and what have you. And he's been a little bit slowed down recently by the fact that his mother passed away, and now all that's dealt with. He says, right, I'm on my way up. He says, I haven't walked for quite some time. He says, I'm really looking forward. And we always have some fun, and he's a lovely lad. You know, he's a good friend of mine.
Now, if after you've finished your circuit of the UK,
Yes.
you should take in Shetland because it's got some of the best walking and hiking anywhere in the world. It's beautiful.
So I'm told. Yes,
it's really worth it.
Yes.
Really worth it.
Well-
We're going to South Uist in a week's time to walk.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you spent a lot of time on the west coast then, generally?
Yes, we have. We've been to pretty well all the islands. So
Right.
Uist is one of the last ones
Right.
that we haven't seen.
Right. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, how long have you been coming over from Canada then? Is
About
this?
30 years.
Oh, do you think you like it?
He's from here
I'm
originally.
from Macduff.
You're from.
I was brought up in Macduff.
Yes, I mean that's another place I just more or less drove through this morning. But when my friend comes, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the walk from Fraserburgh to Macduff is very difficult in my circumstances. It's 24 miles, which is far too far to do in one go because it's a bit up and down.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he's coming, so we're going to split it into 2 12s because with his car, that
that's
adds
good.
that
Yeah.
makes the logistics easier. You see,
Did
This
you
is-
go to the Lighthouse Museum in Fraserburgh?
I haven't been yet.
Well, you really should. So,
Yes.
And anybody out there, if you come to Fraserburgh, the Lighthouse Museum. If you come to Banff, you go to Duff House.
Yes.
Macduff, you go to the
Aquarium.
aquarium in Macduff. What else?
Just lots of walks.
Plenty to see, isn't there?
Yes,
Right.
there is.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had more time to
Right.
sort of
Right.
take in a lot of these places, but when, you know, the intention is to walk around about sort of 15 miles a day, and then I've got to edit the film, so that more or less takes up half of my day. It's like
Right.
7 hours of walking and 5 hours of editing,
Right.
and then I've got the other 12 hours to myself to sleep and eat.
Right.
Looking
So
at a
it's-
strange thing on your head. What is that?
It's a light.
Okay.
Ah, sure. That's a good idea.
So, right.
I
So
love
that
it.
if I'm walking,
In
it's
the
such a
dark.
lovely hat actually.
It is.
A friend bought me it for my birthday, which I thought was very nice. A very nice guy called David, and David Granville Watson bought me it, and he's a fine fella, and he's one of the kind of supervisors on the Pembrokeshire Coastal Path.
Okay.
Lovely lad.
It's still on.
Yeah,
It's
just
still
so
on.
you know.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I go
you
to
don't
bed
want-
in it as well, actually.
There you go.
Because I've got a shaved head, and sometimes it gets a little bit cold on
Yes.
a night, and so I can flick it on in the middle of the night
That's
as well.
perfect.
Yeah, so it's wonderful.
Well-
Well, look, it's been really nice meeting
Yes,
you two
you
people.
too.
And
Oh, good luck with all your walking.
Thank you very much indeed.
We've got your card, so we'll be watching.
That's brilliant.
Is it a Facebook page you're on?
Yes, it's Facebook or YouTube. And all you put is Jim's Coastal Path, and that
Perfect.
it comes up.
We will do
YouTube
that.
as well.
Yes.
Good.
Nice to meet you.
You
Thank you
too.
very
Good
much
luck.
indeed.
Good luck.
Thank you. Bye bye now. Bye bye. It's just after 1:30 now, and I've managed to find a place out of the wind because quite a strong wind has just suddenly come up and there's cloud moving in. It looks as if it might be changing quite a lot because the wind's completely changed direction as well. I'm walking into it now, but that's not so bad. I walked earlier and through a place at White Hills and decided to go onto the coastal path. It didn't look much at all of a coastal path, and it looked as if it hadn't been used for many years. There was just the slightest evidence of someone walking on it fairly recently, and it was a big mistake because it was waterlogged for a start off. It was rutted. I had to use my stick to get through. There was all kinds of rocks and everything, and it was quite close to the beach and the sea, and it had all got kind of waterlogged over a period of time. So I came off it and took a track which led me through a farm where there were 3 combined harvesters working very hard to bring in the crops, and I've been walking on a cycle path ever since. Because there's nothing at all on my right hand side that suggests that there is a coastal path, and looking even from a distance there's absolutely no evidence at all of people walking on it, so I'm staying out of danger. I'm about 10-15 minute walk now from a place, and I'm afraid I've forgotten the name of it. Portsoy, I think its name is. And I'll get there and assess the situation, and I'm hoping to get as far as Cullen, but let's just see how we go and how these clouds and the weather fares. But I'm doing okay. It's nice to be back on the road again after all sitting around for a couple of days in the van, even though I did enjoy the break, and I've got my head back together. That dull mood I had has kind of gone now, and obviously I'm greatly looking forward to Ralph coming on Monday. That's going to be great, and so we can make some progress again. So I'll see you again soon.